What's good? What's good? I'm back, one and only Paul Masson. We are live from Fayettenam. We got a special guest waiting, and he's live from the West Coast, where they got nothing but the best weather in all of America. And he's part of a hip hop group that started in '95, known as the Visionaries. Let's bring on the one and only R.ēL.Z.M, a.k.a. R.ēL.Z.M. R.ēL.Z.M, how you doing?
I'm blessed. You're gonna have to hold on for a second because I had to go walk to the store, and we got some avionic acoustics going on right now. So, little plane is all up in our sound space.
How's the weather?
All right, we better now. What's going on?
How's the weather?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's hot, dude. I live in the Central Valley, man. So it's like 102, 103 degrees right now.
Yeah, we had it like that a few weeks ago.
It's ridiculous.
So I want to start here. Your name. So your name stands for R.ēL.Z.M, and you got the a.k.a. R.ēL.Z.M. Is the R.ēL.Z.M part, is that like from Buddhism?
So it's a mixture. It's a mixture of things, as I feel like Zen essentially is everything and no thing. It's part of the philosophy. It's everything and no thing. And I feel like I can define myself by how I see the world and my being and how I intentionally radiate. But it's always going to hit other people the way that they need it to, or however way they need to perceive it in the moment, whether that's a complete misinterpretation of me or right on the nose. So Zen is that. And then Lord, as in the sense of I am my own self, Lord, master, like everyone, like we're the kings and queens of our worlds. We are the creators of our worlds and our experiences and whatever. But I went by that for a lot of years when I was younger, and R.ēL.Z.M is an acronym of a whole bunch of other names strung together with L.Z and the R.ēL.Z.M being L and Zen. So it's still in the name. I started using the acronym really, man, back in like 2004 or 5, and Google and all of those search engines separated me and they made me two people. so I had to put me back together,
Yeah.
So I just started putting R.ēL.Z.M in quotation marks and then R.ēL.Z.M afterwards. And now years later, you can look me up and you'll get mainly me, and then you'll get some of those remnants of R.ēL.Z.M and R.ēL.Z.M.
Well, I was going to ask, was R.ēL.Z.M like the alter ego? And apparently Google thought R.ēL.Z.M was the alter ego.
In a sense, man, but I feel like Zen, the truest of the word, after the journey that I've had, it's very befitting of the person that I am, the personality that I am, the being that I am. Like it fits. Like it's not it's not a name. It's not a name like Tiny and shit when somebody's like 6'5" and 250 pounds and shit, and everybody wants to call him Pee Wee. No, Zen actually fits, because that name came to me.
Oh, okay. So I want to move to the name like the Visionaries.
Visionaries. That was another one that came out of the ether, I feel like, yeah.
That ain't from the comic book?
Nah, so that was from our own minds. We used to we had a studio down in Was that when we were in Wilmington? We was in Wilmington or Carson. No, we were in Carson, and we had this studio that we called the Bomb Shelter, and that was where we would just go and freestyle, and Rhett, when he decided
Wait,
to
y'all
show up
call it
with
what?
a bunch of
Y'all call it what? The bomb shelter?
the Bomb Shelter.
That's crazy that you say that because, like, we have a group out here in Fayetteville. I hate to cut you off, but you just made me think about one of our biggest groups out here, like locally, was called Bomb Shelter, and then the guys that taught J. Cole how to make beats and stuff.
Oh shit. Man, it's a small
Yeah,
world. Just like there's a cartoon called The Visionaries that at the time we hadn't heard of. And until you fast forward 10, 15 years when now we have the means, we have the internet and things like that where we can start looking shit up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh
yeah.
damn, like wow, like we didn't even know. At least I didn't. Like that name came strictly out of a freestyle a moment, and us just kind of tossing around names and that getting thrown back in the mix, and we just all liked it. you know there's some question of whether that came from Elemental or DJ Rhythmatic. I always attribute them both to the creation of the name. But yeah, it was straight from the mind. Like, we weren't trying to be anyone else but ourselves. And it's so strange how so many things are called Visionaries now, and our logo in its own way has reached so many different people who have freaked their logos to be but you can look at it and tell, like, okay,
So,
we've been around.
did you guys all know each other already once y'all formed the group?
Loosely, yeah. Loosely. I mean, I knew Rhett, and I knew Key Cool from two different circles,
Okay.
because I was going out up to different functions, and I would run into Rhythmatic because he was DJing, and but then I also was working for a nightclub as well. And that was where I met Key Cool with a whole other promoter doing different things. And I didn't even know that they knew each other until they were working on the Cosmonauts. I met Danu when Danu came up from San Diego. He performed at one of the clubs that I worked at. So I met him and then introduced him to Key Cool, and then they just instantly became homies. And Rhett, and then Elemental, Key knew Elemental. Like, Key's known Elemental since he was like 15 or 16 or something like that. So he was always talking about him whenever we would gather up, and we finally met him and clicked. And then 2Max came last because he was on Key Cool, and Rhythmatic had a show at USC college. UCLA. Man, he would kill me for that.
Okay.
At UCLA, he had a show, and Rocka, Iris Sirens, and 2Max were on there. And from then, he started to come down and vibe with us. And once he jumped on, we kind of capped it out and was like, that's the crew right there. And shit, that was probably early 90s. Yeah, it's been a while,
Yeah.
man.
So your first projects, like most of your first projects, were with Up Above Records. What can you tell us about Up Above Records?
So Doug Cato, who was managing Key Cool when I met him,
Okay.
came together with Key Cool, and I believe and they formed this record company. So it's like an independent record company that at first was just us, and then as they began to do things, they got built up a roster where they did things with Junior Gong, A. Marie, Dilla.
Okay.
Man, what's his name? One of the cats from the Far Side. Trey, Slim Kid, Trey. Yeah, they started to do things, Kev Brown, some cats out of the East Coast too, because they had an office in New York. So yeah, but it was, they got to do some big things for an independent, but it was just a family affair where people assume
Okay.
different positions so that we could, so that we can get this moving,
So I was going back listening to some of the old records. Of course, if you can't say love, that's one of y'all's biggest records, correct?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, videos
So
got over 1 million hits, and it's been like that for a long time. It's not like it just hit it. Like it hit that a long time ago, and now since it's such an old video, it's kind of been where it is. But
yeah.
yeah, it got up to like 1 million hits, and yeah, over 1 million hits. That was the one. It was the one that was most listened to in on the streaming and all that. But it's kind of changed now. It's gone down a little bit. There's some other songs that are a little bit more popular right now. But yeah, that one is the one. I would say.
Is something that stood out to me is y'all are a very, very diverse group.
Yeah.
Like when y'all came out, was there a lot of groups that was as diverse as y'all? I don't think there was
Nope.
there?
There still really isn't.
There isn't, right?
No. No. Not like
I
we
mean, it's
do it.
like y'all got almost every race of person that you almost think of in your group.
Well, yeah, because whoever they don't cover on their own, I mean, whoever
Yeah,
they don't cover, I cover everybody else.
yeah.
Because I have like 5 different national. I'm black, but I'm
Okay.
black by proxy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's just I'm black, and I own that. But I also have, you know, 4 other cultures running through my blood. So, which some of them are shared with them.
Okay.
Because 2 of them are Filipino, and I have Filipino in me too. Um, but then I have like Irish and I have indigenous on both sides, Irish on both sides, Italian on my dad's side. So, yeah, I'm a mixed, just a mixture of shit, man. So we pretty much cover the world, we cover the board, yo.
Yeah, I'm
We do.
from what I was told, I'm a European mutt. I'm heard I was like Irish, English, Scottish, Dutch, whatever that means.
Okay, well, because all of them were fighting each other, and not only were they fighting each other, but they were also moving into each other's territory. Like my
Okay.
my family's my family on my dad's side is Irish. Both sides are Irish, but on my dad's side was the first out of the Irish colonists to settle in Normandy. So
Okay.
like this is the shit that was happening in the 14th, 15th, 16th centuries and shit like that. So if you got European blood in you, then it's most likely all kind of mixed up. I got Creole in me too, so I feel like somewhere down there, if I was to go lick a cotton swab and shit, they would probably say I got some French and Spanish in me too.
So I saw this other video I was watching, put it together.
Ah,
I really thought it was a really cool idea how y'all I immediately understood what was going on. Y'all guys are in a bunch of different places. We
yeah,
need to do this video. Let's do it kind of like a podcast or a Zoom call, and everybody
yeah,
pretty much lip
yeah,
sync they video
yep,
part. Like who came
yep.
up with that idea? I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Me,
Okay, I
me.
thought that was
We were,
genius.
we were, we were, we were on lockdown.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was
when
COVID.
COVID was, yeah. This is when
Yeah.
COVID had us on lockdown, and we were, we were putting out this album and needed another video, and we decided on that one. And I saw this commercial, and the commercial wasn't quite what I ended up making the video out to be, but
Uh-huh.
the commercial that I saw inspired me to be like, no, like, and I just told everybody, I was like, look, just record yourself doing the verse and 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 putting something together, whether you're cooking or shit, rolling a blunt, whatever, you know, put something
Yeah.
together while you're so if you watch the video again, in every sequence, there's something being put together. You know,
Okay.
even James, when he was moving, like, you know, he's moving. 2Max had all of these edibles and all these things that he was unboxing and trying to put out. Danny was playing Scrabble with his daughter, putting words together, and he was putting together words that was in his verse. And then I, at the end, was putting together the video because I edited it. I did a lot of the video. Key Cool helped me and added some of his flavor to it, which is how we like to do it usually. If we're one of us edit something, the other will check it and add just a little flair. Some other, you know, don't take away from the original idea, but just add a little something. You know, he's editing video for us right now. You know, and he's, yeah, but the both of us usually, unless we go through a bigger company or something, we do the videos ourselves. So that was my concept. Those dudes came through, recorded their verses, got them to me, and I paneled them up and put it together.
Nah, that was smart because you think about before COVID, people wasn't thinking about doing this remote stuff that much. Like these
No,
remote interviews and stuff. And
yeah,
COVID forced it forced everybody's hand,
yeah,
you know, because there was no in-house interviews. So everybody, even Breakfast Club, everybody was going remote. And then
yeah.
people realized, oh, hold up, this remote thing,
It's the shit,
this could
right?
be a full
It's the
thing.
shit.
Yeah, this could be full time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for real. Cause so I'm like superhero Zen realism in the, you know, with the Visionaries, but when I'm
Yeah.
not doing that,
Yeah.
I'm a video editor, graphic designer. I write code. I write all kinds of code and shit. So
Okay.
I work from home. You know, I take contracts and you know, and jobs, and I've worked from home for years. So, you know, so many more during COVID, so many more opportunities, contracts came
Yeah.
towards me because you know, so many people are now turning to you know, to those services as opposed to, because no one was at work. So
Yeah.
it was in one way, in one way it was such a hindrance because we couldn't do any shows, we couldn't do anything that we were accustomed to doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, the universe provides, because it also provided me with more at home work because people needed people that were doing it. But I'm, you know, now the world is back to whatever the norm is after all of that, but I'm still doing the same thing. Like, I work at home, man. I don't go into anybody's office.
Now, COVID was great for me because I've been doing music marketing for over 13, 14 years.
Oh,
And
nice.
during COVID, like you said, there was no shows. So you wasn't spending money on shows. Well, no live interviews, no live performances. Nobody's passing out flyers and street teaming because nobody's letting you touch them. Everybody's keeping a
Exactly.
distance, masks. So
Exactly.
for me, it was like you either got to promote your music online during COVID or it wasn't get promoted.
Right. Yeah, you
You
had to
know?
step your game up. And I'm the if you look at our followers, man, I am I'll laugh at myself, man. I am the worst. I am the worst. I have several thousand less followers than
What the rest of the
all of my
members?
crew members. Yeah, but it's because I'm
Okay.
just not on there, man. I'm not.
Yeah.
I live on a slightly different frequency, I feel like, period.
Yeah.
That's just the crazy, that's me. So it takes motivation, like, oh, we got a show coming up. Oh, I got new singles coming out. Oh, this, that, and the other. But I'm just not documenting my life like most people do. And you really
Yeah. Yeah.
gotta do that in order to show up in everybody's feeds and shit. You know, like, there's an algorithm to it. And once you fall out of the algorithm, then you ain't showing up in anybody's shit. And then the one time that
Yeah.
you do show up and somebody likes it, then it starts to show up in other people's feed. Like, I told you I write code, man. So I understand algorithms and patterns and all
Yeah.
kinds of
Yeah.
weird shit like that. So I know what it is, but I'm very loath to motivate myself to be any more involved than I am. So I have
Yeah.
very little followers, and people go to my page and I see and they're like, oh, but I could tell, Red's got like fucking 60,000 followers, and then I'm like 2,500. But man, I do what I can, I do what I can, but I'm not, I feel like COVID got me a little bit more involved because, checking in and shit like that. And I've gotten into editing like little things for the stories. Like I'll
Mhm.
edit a little video for the story, and because I spend the time doing it, I'll actually post it.
Yeah.
You know, but I have to motivate myself where other people in the moment could be like, "Hey, I'm selfie," and tick 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 tick, and I'm looking at them like, "Really? Like, okay." Taking pictures of their food and shit, and I'm eating
Yeah.
already. I'm like, oh
No.
shit, we should have taken a picture of the food. Fuck. But that's just how I am, and I live like we don't really have this shit, And it dawns on me later, like, oh, I should have did this, I should have did that. I have a ton of pictures, yo. I can seriously go through my phone and do like a photo dump, and it'll take me like 5 posts to get out all the pictures. And the dope pictures, man. Dope pictures with like artists that y'all know and love, and pictures
Mhm.
with like, yeah, at shows and all kinds of shit, but I've never posted them. Never posted them. I'll look at that shit like, damn, that shit was 2 years ago. What the fuck?
No, trying to build a social media is a full-time job even when you're not getting paid for it. So, and I posted something recently talking about, the social media stuff isn't real. You got to be happy in real life,
Yes.
not social media life, because social
Yes.
media can drive you. It could drive you crazy. My
Bruh.
timeline, they'll throw everything that I hate on my timeline
No, bruh. That's what
just
I'm
to piss
saying.
me
And that's
off.
my
Just to
incentive
piss
to
me
be like,
off.
nah, I don't fuck this.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck with it because I see so much shit. And then, like it's one thing to see other people's shit that show up because IG shows you all kinds of bullshit, like suggested and all kinds of shit. So it ain't
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily your people, you know.
Yeah.
But Facebook, man, Facebook, I feel like is people's therapy. And then I know people. It's like, man, I know you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you, and you
Facebook
just
is when you
decided to
know people
throw
more.
that shit out there to the world because you were upset in the moment. And I bet you when you think about this shit, you're gonna take it down. And sure enough, man, you go back later and that shit's taken down because they're like, damn, you know. But to me, that's what it's become. It's become a gender battle, a religious battle,
Yeah.
a war against the world battle, a woke
Yeah.
against the sleep battle. Like, you know, and everybody shares a little bit of what they're talking about. You call somebody else out, and it's really, you really pointing one finger while 3 are still pointing back at you. And people just don't realize that. So it gets disheartening to me. Like, the other day, a friend of mine, she posted some shit about men. And I was like, well, right off the bat, I'm like, damn, she's been hurt. I've been hurt too. But I'm
You
not
don't.
gonna I'm
Yeah.
not
We
gonna be
don't do
like
that.
all
Dudes don't
women.
do
I'm not
that.
gonna be
Yeah.
like all women are like this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
But she made this blanket statement, and I'm like, well, you talking about your brother, you're talking about your dad, you're talking about your son, you're talking about me. If you make it that open, like I can say that some people are a certain way. I don't even have to be gender specific. I can say some people are a certain way, and we can meet women like that do it their way, and men like that do it their way. And fuck, man, this is 2025. We got a whole gray area of motherfuckers that don't even identify with either one that is still embodying
Yeah.
the same bullshit. You're like, I'm a they, but I'm still an asshole. So it's like, what? So I've just yeah, man, I withdraw myself because I'm also the type of person where I'll make comments on your shit, you know? And the only
Yeah.
way to nod is just to nod. Cause I was like, really,
Yeah.
that's what you think? Okay. And I was like that years ago, but now I'm in this cave that everybody is telling me that I need to climb. This interview is part of that to me climbing out of the Zen cave because I've really been like hibernating for a minute.
Yeah. But social media. One thing about social media is it creates a lot of followers and not a lot of leaders. You know,
Whew, well said.
a
Well
lot of
said.
followers, not a lot of leaders, because everything's about following. You know, followers.
Hmm.
Not a lot of leaders. I mean, I've heard of saying there's 5% evil people, 5% saints in the world, and the other 90% are just sheep. 5% saints, 5% evil people, and other 90% are just
I get that.
follow whoever, you know.
I think so. Here's my thing. I feel like the saints and the saints and the sinners amongst the 5% that you talk about, and then the 90% sheep, all can fall into the same thing. Like, check. So a spiritual person who's really on top of their shit, you know, they start their social media page, and fuck, man, now they got 150,000 followers. Now the raw part of them that inspired them to make that page is not there anymore, because now they have 125,000 people that their mind is telling them that they have to cater to. So now
Yeah.
it becomes like, I follow people, man. I follow people because when IG first started, dude, I jumped in, yo. You know, because I was
Mhm.
like, oh, it's just pictures and blah 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 blah. So I jumped in and I followed like a bunch of people, and man, so like every once in a while I'll come past someone and I'll be like, who the fuck is this? And I'll go and I'll look at their feed, you know, look at their page,
Mm.
and I'm going through all their pictures and shit, and I'm like, man, this is some crazy shit. Like, what the fuck? And I'll finally get down to a picture like fucking 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, or something like that, that I'll recognize and be like, oh, that's why I followed that person. And then everything before that, I'll be something else, you know. But
Yeah.
out of nowhere, something inspired them to be different with how they present themselves, and then that's what they've gone about doing. And shit, man, they don't show up in my feed, or I don't see them enough to recognize and see it. But you know, they change, and you know, I feel like the change happens on both sides. People see that you're becoming popular, and the people around you change, but also, you know, there's some people that actually change with their popularity, and you know, and not only because they get caught up in it, but also because, fuck, man, we can narrow it down to the music industry itself,
Mhm.
and we could say that, you know, like once you get to a certain point, now you got people that are urging you to do it this way or that way, because you know this is going to do this and this is going to do that, and you know you want to do this because you do want to get paid, man. There's the thing,
Yeah.
we want to sustain ourselves off of our passion. So the minute that we tie those two together, there's a creative aspect that is open and free, but then there's the business aspect that is in a box, you
Yeah.
know. And you gotta somehow play the game while maintaining your creative expression, which is hard, you know, for a lot of people. And it's real easy to just get caught up, and you know, once you reach 1 million followers, and you know, I think whatever it was that you first started with has changed. You might still be
Yeah.
on the same subject, but the way that you present it and the way that you do it is completely different. And now you got sponsors and shit. So you got to every once in a while have on some headphones. You know, like it turns into a whole other ball game in itself. And you know, that's just the way it is. And I feel like there's a part of me that's willing to do that, but then there's another part of me that's like, man,
No, that makes sense. There's an artist that I was a fanatic of, and as I said, was a fanatic of, and I think he went through a moment like that, and that was Joyner Lucas, where he made these kind of visuals, this package deal of the audio with the visuals, the way he would concept them, and then when he started getting bigger, he just started just doing stuff that kind of just fit everything else, you know, to sound like everything else. But I got this question. I want to get some more questions. DJ Wreckmatic,
that guy.
how important is he for the Visionaries?
Oh man, just as important as any other player, you know.
Yeah.
But he's the backbone. You know,
Yeah.
he's the music provider. He's the DJ, but also the, you know, and traditional, you know, the culture of hip hop, the DJ is the one that's running the show.
Yeah.
You know, so he is the controller of the show, and we just kind of fall in line, you know. Um, and you know, he has to be aware of so many things at one time, not just us, but sound and different things. And you know, while you know we're jumping around on stage and shit, like he's, yeah, very important, man, very important. That's my dude. That's my dude. I'm glad that we have um an astute, smart, and systematic DJ with us. He's yeah, yeah, love that guy. Love that guy. We couldn't do it without him, you know.
So I saw where it said someone described you as the mystic seventh of a six-man crew. Is that true?
Oh, because so I say that in a song. Fuck, man, I don't even know what song that is, but I say I'm the seventh of a six-man crew. Whole lot ghost in the shell. And yeah, like I am. I don't know. That's something hard to put into words, but it was something that I spoke on a little earlier, where I say I kind of live on a different frequency. You know, like I'm here and I'm participating in this whole unfolding and what's going on, but I also have my foot into a whole other realm that people that 90% that you were talking about, like,
Mhm.
may get glimpses of enough to know that there's something there, but they're not in that realm. And you know, most of the other 10% that you're talking about is not either. So like I feel like I've said to them often when everyone's talking at the same time, I'll tell them that that they're the voices in my head. Like, you sound like the voices in my
Okay.
head, you know. And it is like I'm very much like the oversoul of the, I don't know, I can't put it into words. Like I said, it's just something that I tap into within my frequency of being in this crew that is solely mine to do. Um and I was, yeah, just kind of throwing it out there numerically and esoterically for the people that actually get what I'm saying.
So let's talk about some of your solo projects. I mean, I know y'all had like a 14-year hiatus between your fourth
Yeah,
album and the
kind
next
of,
one.
as
I'm
a
guessing
crew.
life just I'm guessing life just took over, you know, families and solo projects. So you dropped a solo project 2014. Now, as a group member, when a guy starts to do a solo, do you think it always can be like a good or a special moment to like show that you can hold your own individually as well? Because I think all artists at the end of the day still got to show that they can hold their own individually.
So I think, and I feel like if you were talking to any one of us in the crew, we would all say the same thing. I think what we do together is super strong, but I feel like what we do as individuals only gives power, you know, gives power to what we do as a crew. Because now
Okay.
you get to see, I don't know, it's like watching a TV show, you know, and you like all of these characters, but what makes you like those characters more is when you see their backstory,
Yeah.
you know, and what makes them who they are. And that's kind of what our solo projects are. It's just all like showing like kind of like who we are when we're not standing on a stage with our other five crew members. Me specifically, for me, it's a way for me to um I do a lot of things, man. I play instruments, I sing, I do all kinds of shit. So for me, it's an outlet. Plus, you know, like I did years ago in 2006, I think for one, 2006 and maybe 2008 or something like that with the other. I did a Lux Collective project with this cat named David Harrell, who used to be in Lee Scratch Perry's band, like just real sick producer, but like on this electronic kind of dub reggae vibe. And I did these because I could say my shit and say it my way without without worrying about squeezing 8 bars or 12
Yeah,
bars
yeah,
into it. You know what I mean? But it was, but the whole time that I did that, I wanted my folks to be involved, you know. So Danny was on one song on the first album, the second album, Key Cool. And I had this really dope song that I was doing with 2Mex, but we never got to put it out. And it was one of the, man, I wish we would have got that shit done because it was fucking hot, yo. It was so dope. And we just never finalized it. And now you fast forward years later, and you know it's really hard to recapture something that was so long ago. But we were
yeah,
working on this song that was just, you know, just taught to death. But the thing is we took like a 14-year hiatus as a crew, but you know, as a family and
everybody
as
was still
brothers,
working. Yeah,
yeah, as brothers, you know, we were still hanging out, and whoever was doing something, you know, we always showed up, you know. So we're on, you know, we're on 2Mex's solos, they're on mine. We were on Danny's, like, you know, we're spread throughout because Elemental has so many, but we're spread throughout. Like we all have songs when like we always stayed, you know, creating. We just didn't do a cumulative project for 14 years, you know. But we were all doing shit. I got three albums worth of music right now that I'm releasing slowly. But I got three albums coming out right now. You know, that's in some ways kind of, I wrote some of the songs like years ago, but they're very pertinent to what's going on in the world right now. And you know, so we're pushing to get these projects out. um but they're just, you know, those are sides of me, as
yeah,
I'm a visionary, yo. I'm crew, that's my crew. So it's always going to be that, if that makes sense, you know. Like
well, I
whatever
was
we
going to
do
ask.
separately is always for the crew.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask the future plans, and so you basically got like 3 albums on the way because I know you said it shows you dropped some singles last year, "The Truth," "R.ēL.Z.M," and "Impressions."
Yeah, so Impressions is a single off the first album that I'm about to release, called Flight Manual,
Okay,
which is exactly what it is. Like I drop all of these kind of esoteric seeds, but into like this, just, I don't know, it's just music, you know. Like try to I didn't try to come up with a really strong piece to tie them all together, other than me being me, um and just dropping some music. The second album is more introspective.
mm,
And that's what, so the circle means Zen. That's the symbol for Zen, is a circle in the Japanese culture. But I have to
okay,
put Zen in parentheses so that people don't call it O. But you know, but yeah, that's what that is, and that's about me specifically, and you know, kind of really quickly in two verses, summing up that I've been through a lot of shit, and you know, and I found peace in Zen myself, basically. But that other shit is still in me. And then the third one, The Truth, is off of the is a single off of the third album, which is for the ladies. Um, I wrote a lot of songs throughout the years, last few years, um, that were, you know, playfully about relationships, playfully about the interaction between men and women,
hmm,
but also some deeper ones that, you know, get into some of my relationship experiences and shit. And then some other ones that are purely spiritual in the sense of, recognizing the divine feminine and realizing that that's, the yin to my yang, and something that I'm working on internally, and not, necessarily with the women that come into my life to show me these parts of myself, So it's pretty in depth. That covers a lot. Some of the songs are pretty playful. Other ones are a little deeper, but they're all like in this kind of just musical package where if you can get what I'm saying, cool. If not, then you got like these just cool songs. And then although like, that they ain't praise it, it's not a whole album praising up the feminine. Like it's some shit, like I say some shit that might piss some females off, but fuck it. Um, so I have those three coming up, and I'm releasing one more single off of each project
Mhm.
before I release the first project. And then I'm gonna let the other two projects come out when they do. But I wanted to give the nuances, you know.
So
So
something we talk about a lot on this podcast is like, because I had Q Unique on here from the Arsonist, and we
the
talked about this
word.
heavy.
Yeah.
So in rock and roll, all the old schoolers, they just they're like gods.
Right.
Hip hop, they tell everybody in hip hop that we got to stop rapping after 35. Where do you think this is like where is this coming from, and why do you think they only say hip hop?
Um I think because from its inception, before when we even before we were calling it hip hop, it was predominantly, like 18, 19, 20,
Yeah,
or
young cats.
it
Yeah.
was young cats, but it was young cats because it was a young form of expression at the time, and
Yeah.
even if you get all the way up to the 80s, and you got like young cats, like when NWA came out, they were all young and shit.
Yeah.
But even at the time, hip hop was still, a youngster. It was, barely getting out of grade school to go to junior high school, So I just feel like we've been following for so long this this persona that comes with it, that is youthful, that it's taking a moment before we start to realize, like, man, that shit is like, somewhere's around 50 years old. I know they had this big celebration of it, but I was around when it started, because I'm older. It's like I'm
Yeah.
older
I'm
than hip
4
hop.
years younger. I'm 4
Huh?
years younger than hip hop. I'm 4 years younger than
Okay.
hip hop.
Okay, so I'm like 7 years older than fucking hip hop. So, like I was fucking in grade school, doing waves and fucking
Yeah.
backsliding and doing all of this shit, because that was, we're like, yeah, huh, yeah, we were doing all that shit. We were in it before we knew what we were into. Um, but it was a youthful thing, and I feel like now we're getting to the point where even some of our, like some of our hip hop pioneers are older, and we still want to hear from those cats, but to the general populace, it's just youthful. It's funny because you say that and you ask that question, because like maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember how long ago it was, but
Mhm.
it couldn't have been that much longer. Um, my mom and my step pops they have like this little bar around the corner from where they live. And every once in a while, when I go, because I don't live in Southern Cali, I go down there when I got shit to do, and then I come back home to Central Cali. Um,
Mhm.
but I was down there visiting, and I was like, all right, man, I was like, I'll be back, man. I'm gonna go to the bar, and I went to the bar, and I met this cat, yo. So we've all met this cat that knows everybody. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, according to him, he knows fucking everybody. So he's talking about all these fucking people that he knows, and I'm just like, yo. And I feel like everything is a reflection. So I'm like, man, I may not remember that shit, but maybe I was playing that dumbass bullshit when I was in my early 20s or some shit like that. It's been a long time since I've been the type of person like that, because I usually try to keep to myself a lot of times. But this dude is talking about, the people he knows and all the stuff that he could do, for a motherfucker to get me to get me on my feet, you know, to get me going. Because I just told him I was a musician. I didn't tell him that I was a known musician or anything. I just told him that
Yeah.
I was a musician. So he starts naming off all these people and all this shit, you know, that he's involved in about, you know, and I can't remember, but he mentioned a couple people, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, like yeah, I know you talk about this that, and the other, da 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 da. And as we were talking, you know, like I ended up telling him because he was talking about some old shit, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if you know about that or whatever. And I looked at him and I was like, man, bro, like I'm in my 50s, yo. Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So he went instantly, because I'm not even talking about like even a moment of thought, yo. Like he went instantly from like, yo, I got you. Like I know a whole bunch of people and I'm about to turn you into a star to like, damn, bro, you old, man. Your career is over, man. You should start trying to think about doing something else. And you know,
Not knowing y'all came out in 98.
yeah, you know, like I was 95, yo. Like, you know, and I'm like, you know, at that point, I didn't really have, I wasn't going to go into, you know, I'm not that dude. Like, I'm not going to be like, yo, no, look, you know, like, I was like, if that's what you think, man, good on you. But I've been doing this shit for over 30 years, yo.
Well,
And
let me ask you this
I've
though.
done so much shit that if you really were as connected as he was saying he was, then he would have already known, you know. And I was like, all right, bro, we'll just let you talk. But that's, you know, he reacted in a moment once he once he discovered how old I was. I mean, I was
Well,
washed up and I was done and shit, you know. But
let me
look,
ask you this
I
though.
look
Let me
like the
ask you
same
this.
cat, whether I tell you how old I am or not. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what you're saying is, if I don't tell anybody how old I am, then I got a chance. Is that what you're saying? Like, what this white hair is here? Anyway, what are you
So
saying?
we know rapping after 35, like to stop rapping after 35 is BS because last year, you know, the best albums were probably from like LL and Common and Pete Rock and
Yep,
Tyler the Creator, and we know J. Cole's getting up there in age, Kendrick's getting up there in age. A lot of the older
yep,
cats put out better albums.
yep.
But is there an age limit on establishing yourself as an artist in this business?
I don't think so.
What about hip hop?
I don't think so. I think that's part of the bullshit that we put on top of it, you know, because you got to
Mm.
be stupid young teens to be talking about all of the dumb shit and doing all
The
the
dumb shit
fucking
they
off
talk
shit.
about, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
because you can't be no fucking 40-year-old man talking that dumb shit because
Talk
you sound
about
like
all
a
this shit
dumbass.
nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, yeah, but I think that there's enough people in the world that listen to music that'll fucking listen to your shit regardless and be like, yo, this shit is dope. I don't know what the fuck you motherfuckers is talking about, but this shit is dope. You
I
know,
mean,
I got shit right now. Like you'll see as it comes out if you pay attention to
uh,
to our releases and shit, then you'll see when my shit comes out, man. I got shit that's different, yo. And I mean different. I don't mean like I want some other shit different. I mean like different from Visionaries, you know? Like I
yeah,
got shit. I got shit that's like commercial that could be on commercial. You know, like I got shit because I just make music. You feel
yeah,
me? Like I'm a musician, so if I feel like I got a couple of songs on my albums where I'm playing the saxophone and shit, just because I play the saxophone. So I was doing some shit, you know, and um capitalizing on it. You know, I got songs where you know, like I remember certain vibes of hip hop back in the day where I'm just like, man, I just want to be on that vibe type of shit. Like it's not like I don't know how to explain it. It's not like the network of what the Visionaries is. You know what I mean? Like the Visionaries has a
yeah.
particular sound, you know, and I am someone who's all over the place. You know, I got songs where I'm not even rapping, where I'm just singing, you know, and I got songs where I'm singing, where I'm like actually singing, and then I got songs where I'm I'm trying to think of someone who's like that, but all I'm thinking of is actually singers right now. But there's some artists that are out that are not really singers, but they know how to carry a tune well enough to where they can make a pop song. And I have songs like that. Like I have songs where I'm just having fun. So I'm
Yeah.
not really trying to get real deep with it. But then I have other songs, man, where I'm singing and harmonizing. Like I just do a lot of stuff. And I feel like people that have no idea who I am, if I promote it right and if I get it out there, just so that it can get heard and thrown in the streams. People who don't even know who I am are gonna like the songs just because they fit into a certain category of songs that they listen to, whether it be R&B or slightly pop shit or whatever. Because I was just making songs,
Yeah.
like when I'm by myself, I'm like, fuck it. I got a rock song, but it's me though.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like Beyonce does country, you know what I mean? Where you're trying to capture a fucking like I want to find country me. No, it's a
Yeah.
rock. It's a because we play instruments and I got homies that play instruments, so they just made this beat and I was just like, all right. So I sang this song, but to me it's me, and everyone that I played it for says the same thing. Like they're just like, it's rock. It's a rock song, but it's you. It's not like you're trying to make a rock song, you know. And that's just because I felt it in a moment, So that's what I mean. Like I have a whole bunch of stuff coming out, and I feel like, Two Mex is another brother that's like that. Like Two Mex likes a lot of 80s music and shit like that. So when he does his solo projects, he gets to do all of this crazy shit that that's not on the visionary shit, man. And I think it's important that we do that, you know.
Yeah, I'm about to try to have him up on here too. We about to wrap it up though, man. I think me and you could probably chop it up every like all day long. You're a really nice dude, and
Thanks for
definitely
having me,
interesting. I
man. I
think we would like,
appreciate it, brother.
yeah, man. And you're more than welcome to come back on, especially when like you drop the album, and if you want to talk about anything,
Yeah, if we could do
I'm
that,
with
that
it.
would be real good. That'd be real good because I would have more shit in my head right now. Like this past week, we just been preparing for the show, which for anybody who might be tuning in on the Southern Cali side, we'll be at the L.A. Coliseum on
Okay.
Saturday, the Rhyme Fest with DJ
Oh
Quick,
yeah, yeah. I
Exhibit,
seen
and
that.
Raekwon and Ghostface. I guess it's gonna be a lineup of
That's gonna be a nice show.
it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. I've been preparing for
Yeah.
that, and Visionaries has some new stuff coming out. We are releasing it tandem, like with other things. So, and with this new age of things, we are going with the times and not necessarily vinyling everything up, and we're
Yeah.
we're we're just releasing things as we do. So yeah, everybody stay tuned and check visionarieshiphop.com and the Visionaries at IG and on Facebook, and yeah, stay in touch with us, man.
I
I
definitely will
got you
do that.
locked in from now on too. Now I never really peeped your show until you sent me a thing, and I was peeping a couple of the things, yo. So yeah, let's
Yeah, I mainly interview a lot of artists from the '90s era, which is my favorite era, and some '80s artists. I've had some,
me too.
you know, a few R&B
Me too.
cats like Lenny Williams and Melvin Riley and
Really?
stuff like that. Yeah,
What?
yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of
Lenny
legends. I mean, if you
Williams?
go back, yeah, if you go back and look at some of the people I've had on here, I mean, I've had a lot of legends. Like doing
I
music
didn't see
promotion
that
through
one.
the years has helped me build a lot of relationships. So I do promotion for Lenny Williams and Melvin Riley through a friend of mine. So, I just use those relationships to get the interviews.
Man, that
Yeah,
used to be one of my
Lenny's amazing. Lenny's amazing, yo.
Coffee. Yeah, I remember the cut. Yeah, one of his biggest cut. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right on. Man, well, let's stay in touch, brother. Um,
will
I'll
do.
reach out I'll reach out when I have
And I'm gonna
when I
send
have
you the
some
email
stuff
too.
out.
I do music reviews on Saturdays. So if y'all got any solos or any group
Oh, for
projects,
sure, for
you
sure,
know,
for sure. We got a ton of them, man. So
yeah.
we'll get those to you, man. Thanks for having me on. I
Yep. I appreciate
appreciate it.
you.
Yeah, man. Big
Enjoy the
blessings,
rest of your
bro.
day, man.
You too, man. You too.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, man. Peace and
Lord's
blessings.
in.
Yeah, yeah. Love you all.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Well, there you have it. A lot of 80s hip hop, a lot of 90s hip hop on here. What can I say? I'm biased towards the 90s. And R.ēL.Z.M, the Visionaries, they got a show coming up, Rhyme Fest. Go check that out. Go check out the albums. They got at least, I want to say, 5 or 6 group albums. They got a lot of solo albums. We're going to try to get 2Mex on here. I actually got the number. I got to call and reach out and set up the interview. I don't think there's anything crazy that's happened in the hip hop world. I know last week I talked about will.i.am saying that Black Thought was a trillion times better than Jay-Z. I think most people are really getting upset about the trillion times. Like, you didn't say like 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times. You said a trillion times. I mean, Jay-Z's a really huge artist to, I think, be a trillion times better than, in my opinion. I think most like real pure hip hop heads would pick Black Thought over Jay-Z, but I think the masses would pick Jay-Z, just his popularity, his legend, just what he's done outside of hip hop as a businessman is just took him to, you know, a whole nother realm, We about to wrap it up. We go live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time if we got interviews. Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And Saturdays is usually 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern time with the music reviews. We go live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Audio version will be downloaded after the podcast is over and uploaded to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm the one and only Paul Masson, live from Fayettenam, and we about to wrap it up. Peace.